What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So I just want to speak on this. Been reading more about this. Shout out to the chat group I'm in. It's the first place I saw talking about this. And shout out to the brother LB. He did a video about this as well. If you're not subscribed to the sports and political channel of LB, please subscribe to his channel. Now, last night the Houston Rockets lost to the Denver Nuggets. I think the final score was 124 to 111. All right. And it was reported by head coach Silas that Kevin Porter Jr. did not play in the second half due to a thigh injury. But as we have realized, that was bullshit. Okay, what happened was John Lucas Jr. I believe it's Jr. No, is it John Lucas the third? I think it's John Lucas the third. John Lucas the third. I can't remember whether it was Junior or the third. I forget which one he is, but let's just say John Lucas, the assistant coach, got on he got on the team, right, for their lack of effort. And but he specifically got on Kevin Porter Jr. and another player named Christian Wood for their lack of effort, especially on the defensive end. So what transpired was a absolute tirade by Kevin Porter Jr. He reportedly threw an object, yelled at the assistant coaches, yelled at the assistant coach, and then in a move that I have never heard of before, or at least not in recent memory, he leaves the fucking arena. Leaves. Leaves his team. Christian Wood did not have the outburst, but he refused, from what I could read, he refused to come into the game in the second half because his feelings were hurt. These are my thoughts about this. First of all, I know it's not going to happen, but if I were the general manager, and if I especially was the owner of the Houston Rockets, these two motherfuckers, especially Kevin Porter Jr., would have played their last games for my franchise. They would be DMPs until I got these motherfuckers to fuck up out of this team. You leave because the coach pissed you off, because he critiqued you. That's one of the problems right now. This is what Charles Barkley was talking about. He says it's funny, whenever you praise these players, you don't hear from them. You don't hear from the agents. The minute you say anything that's constructive criticism of them, they're calling TNT. Their agents are calling TNT. The minute you retract what you said, these sensitive fucking ass little boy baby, look, motherfucker, you are a professional. You behave like a fucking professional. You already have a track sheet and a track record. You know what I'm saying? That makes people question whether they should commit to you. Leave the arena? I'm gonna tell you something else too. And a lot of people like when I be talking like this, but it is what it is. I have a strong suspicion that Christian Wood and Kevin Porter Jr. wouldn't talk to Steve Kerr like that. I bet you they wouldn't talk to Steve Nash like that. They wouldn't have put on a tirade like that if Tom Thibodeau was standing in front of them. Even if Billy Donovan was standing in front of them, they wouldn't have did that shit. And you know where I'm going with that. That's part of the reason. Part of the reason I think James Harden left. Not just, a little bit of it was, he was going to be touching the ball less, and they're going to be moving the ball around more. But at the end of the day, you know where I'm going with that. A lot of these so-called brothers don't like to take direction from a fellow black person, a fellow black man. They don't like to do it. I can go a whole other direction with that, and I don't want to go down that path. But that is part of the equation, I believe. Steven Silas, from what I can tell, is a great basketball mind, right? First thing when he got hired, James Harden left left the Houston Rockets. It's funny. James Harden had such a supposed problem with the owner being a supposed Trump supporter, which he should have known for years. But then when you get a brother as your head coach, you bounce on him. That's a disgrace. Fuck both of them motherfuckers, man. I wish nothing but the worst for Kevin Porter Jr. as a fucking professional. Fuck him. That's why we feel sorry for these fucking players, man. They come back 5 years later in a 30 for 30 documentary. I just wish I took better. I wish I made better judgments. I was young and dumb. Fuck you, nigga. You had multiple chances to straighten up and take advantage of the opportunity and the privilege, honestly, the privilege to play in the NBA. There's only been 5,000 players in the history of the league. 5,000. 5,000 over a 75-year period. What's the population of the United States right now? 335, 340 million? That's a very scant select few. And you make millions. And yes, it's not easy. It's not easy the way people think it is. You have to make a lot of sacrifices. But at the end of the day, if I'm looking at a paycheck every fucking 2 weeks, and that motherfucker says, or is it every week? I forget whether it's bi-weekly or every week anymore. But if I'm looking at a paycheck and that motherfucker says 387,000 after taxes, and I'm playing basketball, which is something a lot of us do as a stress reliever for fun. They get to do that as their occupation, and they're being set up for generational wealth to pass on to their offspring. And you can't even take direction. You can't even let a coach you because your ego is so inflated that hey, any type of constructive criticism. And I know that John Lucas, he ain't Bobby Knight. He ain't say something out the way. He said something that had to be said, but your ego wouldn't allow someone of his stature to say it to you. How dare you talk to me? Nigga, I make more money. Fuck you. Okay, you know what? They should make it so that you don't make no more of that fucking money. Fuck these dudes, man. They need to do something about a lot of these prima donnas walking around. These Ben Simmons. Remember that guy that played for the Pelicans? He was a role player, and I can't remember his name right now, but he was a role player. Literally, he came off the bench and he was dictating. He was trying to dictate what team he gets traded to. Well, I won't play for this team. I won't play for that team. Nigga, how about you don't play for no team? Who the fuck you think you are? You're 4 points per game average ass motherfucker. Sit your ass down. But this is why I don't praise these motherfuckers the way I do the players of the past. The supposed taxi drivers, the supposed carpenters and plumbers and all this other shit. It's funny how a lot of people equate those professions with mediocrity and failure. But do they really realize how much money plumbers can make? You know, like I tell you one thing: a plumber can make a lot more money than most people. A plumber can make between $80,000 and $100,000 a year. That ain't bad money. But anyway, that's besides the point. I'd rather praise those motherfuckers who's playing hard every night, day in and day out, listen to the coach. Yeah, they had arguments. Yeah, they would cuss the coach out a little bit. They was human. Okay? These are grown men. I understand that. But to leave the arena, to leave the fucking arena, to quit on your team like that. If I'm your teammate, I don't want you. I don't want you nowhere near me. Fuck that dude. I can't trust him. So fuck both of them. Houston should cut them. And that's all I have to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.